It's time for Talent Talk with the 2nd Combat Aviation Brigade on AFN the Eagle, serving America's best.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Senior Airman Stephen Ellis here in the studio. It is 2:07 on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm sitting in the studio with two special guests. Can you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
I'm Lieutenant O'Leary, 2-Cab Brigade Medical Operations Officer.
And, of course, Sergeant Jesse Smith from the 2-Cab Public Affairs Office.
You know him, you love him. Okay. Now, 2-Cab Medical Brigade Officer.
Yes.
As an airman, that just means, like, quantum physics to me. What is that?
So I handle all of the medical operations in the brigade. I'm not a doctor. Throw that out there. I'm not a doctor, but I do handle all the medical operations for the brigade.
Okay. Now, that's how many people are in a brigade, in your brigade?
2,000, over 2,000, it's about 2,400.
Okay, so that's a lot of people. That's probably a pretty stressful job.
It can be, yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about you. We apparently we have the whole entire state of Montana on the peninsula with us. We were just talking about that.
In 2-Cab.
In 2-Cab specifically, yeah. And, you know, for our listeners who have tuned in other weeks and have heard Captain Meyer from 2-Cab, she's from Montana. And it turns out, Lieutenant O'Leary.
Yes, I'm also from Montana as well, Butte, Montana.
Butte, Montana.
Yes.
Oh, Butte, Montana. All right. People probably don't actually talk like that up in Montana, huh?
No.
Okay. Well, Lieutenant O'Leary has brought some information into the studio about scheduling appointments, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And so, appointments for who?
Specifically today is geared towards family members, our command-sponsored family members, as well as our non-command-sponsored family members. There's two sets of instructions for people who fall in both of those categories to schedule an appointment at the TMC. So command-sponsored families are able to call into the TMC at 8 o'clock in the morning for same-day appointments or future appointments, and the non-command-sponsored families are able to call into the appointment line at 1100 for space-available appointments same day or potentially scheduling future appointments depending on space.
Okay.
So what exactly is space available?
Space available appointments is those appointments that do not fill up from our command-sponsored families as well as our soldiers.
Okay, just wanted to make sure everybody out there knew exactly what space available actually means, because not everybody knows.
I didn't even know that non-command sponsored dependents could be seen, so that's really cool that you guys offer that, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, awesome. Well, hey, we'll be back after some music. Right now we have the Romantics with What I Like About You. Well, you're listening to AFNO's on the Eagle with Talent Talk. All right, we're back from our break. First things first, Lieutenant O'Leary, you wanted to talk about command-sponsored appointments, correct?
Yes, so for the phone numbers for command-sponsored and non-command-sponsored families, to make those appointments, you will call the DSN line, which is 737-CARE or 737-2273. And from a cell phone, that's 05033-372273. Again, that's 05033-372273 for appointments.
Yeah, and that's pretty important because as we were just talking about, I mean, we can give out DSN numbers all day on the radio, but if you're on a cell phone, I mean, there's a whole series of, you know, numbers you have to put in before that to make it work. So, okay, now just to go over that again, you know, or to kind of summarize, command-sponsored families, command-sponsored dependents are ones that the Army or the Air Force or the DOD has said, hey, you are authorized to come to Korea on this person's orders.
Yes.
Okay. And so the difference there being that non-command sponsored are people who bring their families just on their own, right?
That's correct, yes. So for the command-sponsored families, they fall under TRICARE Prime, which gives them access to off-post hospitals that accept TRICARE. For non-command-sponsored families, they are limited to TRICARE Standard, but that still gives them access to 7 different hospitals on post when they have to go outside of the TMC to receive their care for things like MRIs, CAT scans, etc. 4 of those hospitals are in our local area.
Okay. And you mentioned, I don't know if you want to talk about this later, but you mentioned that there are 2 of them that have shuttles, correct?
That's correct, yes. Don Cook University Hospital in Chonon has a shuttle, and Hylam Hospital also has a shuttle as well, and those are daily shuttles. The shuttle for Don Cook departs from the TMC Monday through Friday at 8:30 and 12:30, and the shuttle for Hylam departs from the Camp Humphreys walking gate 8 and 1 o'clock daily.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool because, again, we were talking about how I think everywhere, like no matter where you're at on planet Earth, you can say that the drivers there are crazy.
Yeah.
That like everyone drives crazy everywhere. I think that's just a human thing. We all drive crazy, and but so talking about how you, Lieutenant O'Leary, you're from Montana, where there's maybe like one person every 200 miles
Exactly.
on the road. Coming from LA, where like everyone habitually tries to kill each other on the roads, I'm very at home driving on Korean roadways. But for people who aren't down with that life experience, those shuttles seem like a really good tool.
Absolutely, and it also saves money for those people that are trying to take taxis, because Good Morning Hospital is about 20 minutes from Post. So if you go to Don Cook, it's a little farther, but the shuttle service does come Monday through Friday.
You said the shuttle service is free, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, awesome. Really good info. So we'll be back after this break with your weather, fuel, and exchange rate. Stay tuned to AFN Osan, the Eagle. 32 minutes into the hour. Before we get on with more music, Lieutenant O'Leary here has more information on your TRICARE care over here in the peninsula. Can you go ahead?
Sure. So to reiterate again, the command-sponsored families are able to use any of the hospitals that accept TRICARE, whereas our non-command-sponsored families are able to use 7 hospitals in Korea that accept TRICARE standard. The ones that are in our area are Don Cook University Hospital, Good Morning Hospital, Hylam Hospital, and Aju Hospital.
Bless you.
So basically with those different hospitals, each one of them offer, they have international services where they'll actually translate with the doctor for you, because obviously, we're here in Korea and there is quite the language barrier for families as well as individuals that are going to seek medical care. In addition to using those services, because they are only offered from about 8 until 5 o'clock every day, you can also bring your records back to the TMC, your records, your MRIs, your results, and bring those back and have your doctor also interpret them from the TMC.
Okay, cool. That's that. Awesome. So coming up, we have Matt Kearney and AWOL Nation, and then we have some more information about 45 past the hour about what to do in the case of an emergency. That's exciting.
Yes.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. You're listening to AFN Osan, the Eagle. So we've had all this talk this hour about scheduling appointments over at Camp Humphreys, and I think a pretty important thing is probably an emergency. That's probably maybe the most important thing. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely. So for emergency situations, as most of you on Camp Humphreys know, we do not have any after-hours care, meaning after about 4:30 every day, we do not have after-hours care. So if you are faced with an emergency situation, we do have 24-hour emergency transport, which transports you to the nearest hospital, which is typically Good Morning Hospital. So if you have an emergency situation on post after about 4:30, you can call 911 from a DSN phone or from a cell phone, 031-690-7911. Again, that's 031-690-7911 to report your emergency situation.
That's a lot of numbers, but that's probably pretty important to take down. What is it again? Just one more time.
It's 031-690-7911.
Okay, and so that's if you are on or near Camp Humphreys, and whether you're command sponsored or not.
Correct.
You have some kind of emergency go down.
Yes, absolutely. The nearest hospital is Good Morning, so that is one that obviously accepts TRICARE Prime as well as TRICARE Standard. But again, in an emergency, the biggest case is, or the biggest thing is to make sure that the person survives.
Yeah, I would say that's probably priority number one. Cool. All right then. Well, I mean, as we round out our hour on Talent Talk with a couple shout outs.
Sure. So I'll give my shout-outs to Sergeant Bell in 602nd, Sergeant Erickson in 602nd, and the Lieutenant Mafia in 32 that's currently rocking the arms inspection.
Right.
I actually want to keep it going with the 602nd. Last week, we had a toughest talent competition. And 602nd won. So I just want to give a shout out to those guys, because that was an intense competition. There was water events, there was CrossFit, there was tire flipping, there was a stress shoot, there was weapons. What is it called? Weapons. They had to put together all the weapons. They called it weapons rodeo. That's what it was. Weapons rodeo.
Okay.
That was a new thing. I hadn't seen that before. And 602nd ended up pulling it out, so that was really impressive. So shout out to them.
All right, cool. Well, hey, we'll be back after this break with your weather, fuel, and exchange rate. Stay tuned to AFN Osan, the Eagle.